Hello everyone, my name is Pauline Ragmet and today I will be presenting CIBC. In this video, we will explore a manifesto aimed at creating a just, equitable, and inclusive workplace at CIBC. This manifesto is shaped by key concepts like the glass ceiling and escalator, the Alliance for Employment Equity, and the impact of skills development for marginalized groups. CIBC is one of Canada's largest and most prominent financial institutions, and its ongoing efforts to address workplace justice, diversity, and inclusion. CIBC was founded in 1867 and became one of Canada's largest banks. Today, CIBC is a leader in promoting diversity, with 56% of its employees being women and 31% holding executive roles. The bank has a strong commitment to diversity, focusing on racial equity, sexual orientation, disability, and Indigenous representation. CIBC has implemented a structured inclusion and diversity strategy, overseen by a dedicated council that ensures DEI initiatives are driven from the top down. Their efforts are further supported by 10 people networks, which serve as platforms with engagement and connection. These bring together over 11,000 employees globally. These networks foster a sense of community and belonging for diverse groups within the organization. Importantly, CIBC has set measurable goals for representation, specifically for underrepresented groups like Indigenous peoples, Black communities, and peoples of color. The institution has made clear its intent to create real change by focusing on leadership representation, career advancement, and ongoing opportunities for marginalized employees. However, despite these efforts, systemic issues still persist. One primary factor is that unconscious biases in recruitment and promotion processes tend to favor candidates who conform to dominant culture norms. This questions why the number of visible minorities in high managerial or leadership positions are low. Indigenous people make up just 1% of senior leadership roles within the bank, which means that this statistic reveals the glass ceiling that limits career advancement for marginalized groups, particularly in decision-making positions. This is evident in the case of Christine Paquette, a young Indigenous woman who encountered problematic elements in CIBC's recruitment process. Specifically, the bank's job application for Indigenous candidates included culturally insensitive questions, asking applicants to share personal Indigenous stories or perform cultural expressions like dressing in traditional regalia or performing a dance. Number 2, ending the glass ceiling and representation in leadership. We commit to mandating transparency in hiring and promotion practices to ensure that marginalized groups are represented at all levels of leadership. This ensures equitable access to mentorship and professional development opportunities for underrepresented workers. Marginalized workers often encounter what is referred to as the glass escalator effect. This concept shows how individuals from historically underrepresented groups face invisible yet persistent barriers to career advancement, despite having the necessary qualifications and competences. As seen with Christine Paquette's experience, asking Indigenous candidates to perform their cultural identities for job applications turns their lived experiences into tools for branding. This form of tokenism prevents genuine efforts to create an inclusive workplace by creating stereotypes and exploiting culture for corporate gain. To take action, shift focus from creating diversity for public relation purposes to fostering a true culture of inclusion. The Alliance for Employment Equity case is critical in understanding the constant tension between social justice activism and political resistance. In Ontario, the repeal of the employment equity law was framed by critics as a response to reverse discrimination and job quotas, despite the fact that the legislation did not mandate quotas. In conclusion, this manifesto represents a bold call for systemic change at CIBC, one that moves beyond tokenism and strives for real inclusion. CIBC must commit to a workplace where all employees particularly those from marginalized backgrounds, are valued, supported, and empowered to thrive. By addressing the systemic barriers that prevent the progress of women, racial minorities, and Indigenous peoples, CIBC must create a culture of true inclusion that can lead by example in creating a fairer, more equitable workplace.